Well, the term or the phrase "the dark night of the soul" is something that I think gets referred to more often these days, but it's something very difficult to appreciate. And I would say the dark night of the soul, particularly in our culture, is what it is because there's no way to integrate it very easily in a busy world. And how I understand it is a certain myth that we live by that's been a guiding principle in us for a significant amount of time in our lives begins to fade, the way sunset fades at the end of a day. And the feeling is that the sun's not going to come back. And that's what happens, that intrinsic motivation that we had following one myth, maybe accumulating in our lives. It doesn't work anymore. We have no sense of what replaces it. And then our ego wants to come in and say, well, I'll give this 2 weeks. I'll give this a month. Or I'll repair it this way, and I want to work on it. And this isn't anything that you work on. The dark night of the soul is a profound surrendering to the soul on the soul's terms as the soul is until the soul says otherwise. And for whatever that reason is, it's not privy to us in advance. So it makes it feel like something is going on forever. And when we're suffering like that, minutes feel like hours and hours feel like years. So it has a tendency to feel like it lasts forever. I have a good friend who's just coming out of a really dark period of this. And he's coming out of it in a way that has a new orientation and a new perspective, and not with a hurrah, but with a more grounded, sober perspective on his life.
You mentioned it kind of, there's a fading moment like as the sun sets. Do you see it as more of a gradual process, or is there like a major crisis or an ordeal involved in the dark night of the soul that precipitates that turn?
I think the descent that happens, the dark night of the soul is a descent, and either way, a divorce, a death, there can be a suddenness to it or a gradualness to it, but either way, however it arrives, it has such complexity to it that there's no formula that simply repairs it or restores something to where it was before. It's a dismantling of the whole structure. And this is what we would call nervous breakdowns, these profound periods of disillusionment or spiritual emergencies. And what it takes is accompaniment. How someone gets through it is by having people who can withstand them and be with them without trying to change people, which is very, very hard for us in a culture to do. We all want to be helpful. And that tends to lengthen the process. So from my own experience of that and going through a divorce and saying everything I knew about how the world works did not work. And so it wasn't a matter of just, all right, I'm just going to do something else now. I had to unlearn or look at what doesn't actually work, or what did I buy into that's no longer true, and now what is true. And that takes time, effort, and reward, but I would not be where I am today without that dark night of the soul that I experienced through my divorce.
It sounds like that this comes with a sacrifice, or a literal deconstruction of the ego, this nervous breakdown, this dark night of the soul.
Sacrifice is an interesting word, where when we're following a calling, we have to be willing to do anything for it. We're subjected to it. It's not sort of a wanting. It's, I do what I do in the world because I don't know what else to do. And I don't know what better to do. And that requires a lot of sacrifices and choices on my part not to do other things that I could do. And that's the price of admission to the party. And so for me, it's critical that if I'm on my journey, that it's in service of the vitality of of accessing, for me, what Campbell once said is to become the zeal of eternity for incarnation in time, which is my mantra, my private mantra, to say, I want the eternity to move through me and move people, and I've got to make sacrifices for that. And if I don't make sacrifices for the things that matter most to me, then I'll feel like I'm a victim, and that I'm losing myself or giving myself to things that aren't worthwhile. But I have never seen a boon without a sacrifice. You pay the price of admission.
And how would you describe this boon, this reward of the adventure, taking place in context of your practice or the journeys themselves?
Well, the boon is what we're all looking for, right? The pearl beyond all price. And my experience is that we need the right condition of challenge and support in the right way. And then we have to have the light on, and we have to be paying attention on our path to realize this is it for me. And to know when those moments are, and to observe them, embrace them, and say, what is it for me? What makes the light really come on? And for me, that is everything. And it's not simply a reward like a prize, but it's like the inimitable. It's so uniquely for me, and it's so beyond my ability to even wish for myself. And at the same time, it's hard to grasp and hard to relate to, or hard to explain to other people what that is. So that's not something that's Reader's Digest or People Magazine can hand to us so readily. And the whole idea of the boon for me is to see, what is it more than anything else that allows me to be moved? Like, what moves me? And what allows me to move other people? That for me is my boon, and the unique ways that I do it. And story and the hero story is certainly one of them that brings me alive in that way. And for that, I feel willing to sacrifice.
So obviously part of the journey is psychological. It's, a large majority of it, is an introverted journey. So do you see some of these, breakthrough insights along the way as boons of the journey, as transformative rewards that we carry?
I think that breakthrough insights are an important part of the journey, and I would say they're the door prize. They get you in the door, they get you excited up front. It's like hitting a home run your first time up. They really help to keep us going. But there's an expression that the rabbit snares exist for the sake of the rabbit, but once you catch the rabbit, you don't need the snares. And I think once you have the boon and you know what it is that brings you alive, breakthrough insights aren't so necessary or important anymore. It's just important to stay on your path and to do all the things that you do to keep creating the conditions for awakening. Because I have watched a number of people get addicted to insights. It becomes their cookie, not their fire. And it's important not to use insights for intellectual fascination only, but to really root that in the body for passion, and to give that passion to the service of the world around us.